I'm 70 years old and I'm about to tell you something that might upset you. Everything you've been told about finding yourself is wrong. And the worst part is that the people who were supposed to guide you, your parents, your teacher, society, didn't necessarily lie on purpose. Most of them were just passing down the same fears they inherited. I know this because I spent the first 50 years of my life believing those same ideas. I thought life was about being sensible, fitting in, and doing what made sense on paper. I believed that if I followed the rules, stayed practical, and avoided unnecessary risks, everything would eventually feel right. From the outside, it looked like it worked. I had stability, a respectable career, and people who said I was doing well. But inside, something never quite clicked. At 55, something happened that quietly broke the illusion. There was no accident, no hospital room, no dramatic moment. I was sitting alone at my desk late one evening, finishing work that didn't really matter, when a thought crossed my mind. If this is my life, I don't recognize it. That realization frightened me more than the idea of dying, because I understood something painful. I didn't hate my life, I just wasn't truly in it. I had been living on autopilot, meeting expectations instead of listening to myself. I was doing what was required, not what was true. And that's when another thought followed, one that still stays with me today. If my life had ended then, what would I have actually lived? Not achieved, not accumulated, lived. Here's the biggest lie most people tell themselves: I'll become myself later, when things calm down, when there's more money, when there's more freedom. I hear this from people in their 20s, 30s, even 40s, where they're all waiting for the moment when life finally allows them to be who they really are. The truth is simple and brutal. That moment never comes. Life doesn't slow down. It fills up. There's always another responsibility, another expectation, another reason to postpone your own voice. And if you're not careful, you wake up one day and realize you've spent decades preparing to live instead of actually living. I spent years being proud of how adaptable I was, how easygoing, how flexible. What I didn't see was that adaptability had slowly erased me. I was liked for being agreeable, but no one truly knew me, and because I didn't let them. And here's something no one tells you when you're young: being liked is not the same as being known. I chased safety for most of my life. I chose paths that upset the fewest people. I softened my opinions, hid my interests, and told myself I was being mature. In reality, I was being afraid. And afraid of rejection, conflict, and disappointing others. A friend of mine died at 67. He was kind, reliable, always there for everyone else. He did everything expected of him. At his memorial, people said he was such a good man. All I could think was whether anyone had ever really met him. That question has never left me. Your regrets won't come from the things you failed at. They'll come from the parts of yourself you never gave permission to exist. I don't lie awake thinking about bad decisions. I think about the conversations I avoided, the boundaries I didn't set, and the dreams I dismissed as unrealistic. Those are the things that stay with you. You think you have time to become yourself later. You don't. Identity doesn't appear one day fully formed. It's built through choices, and every time you choose comfort over truth, you drift a little further away from who you are. I waited too long to become myself. By the time I started asking honest questions, decades had already passed. I did make changes. I stepped back from things that drained me. I stopped saying yes automatically. I allowed people to be disappointed, but I did it late. Much later than I needed to. Here's what no one prepares you for: becoming yourself has a cost. You will lose approval. You will confuse people. You will be misunderstood. Some relationships won't survive the change, and that's terrifying, especially if you built your identity around being liked. But what you get in return is something most people never experience: peace, clarity, and a life that finally feels like it belongs to you. I wish someone had told me this earlier. You don't find yourself by waiting. You find yourself by choosing. in small moments, in uncomfortable decisions, in saying no when you're expected to say yes. No one is coming to give you permission. I'm 70 years old now. I don't have endless time anymore, and I'm aware of that every day. That awareness is heavy, but it's also free, and I no longer waste energy pretending. I only wish I'd stopped pretending sooner. There's a strange clarity that comes when you realize the clock is no longer abstract. When someday turns into a very real number, you stop asking what will make you look successful and you start asking what actually feels honest. You notice how much of your life was shaped by fear of judgment, fear of conflict, fear of being seen too clearly. And you see how often you traded truth for approval without even realizing you were doing it. At this age, you understand something you couldn't see before. Most of the pressure you felt was never real. It was imagined, inherited, or quietly enforced by people just as unsure as you were. You spent years trying to earn a sense of belonging, not realizing it only comes when you stop performing. When you finally let go of the role you were playing, there's grief for the time you lost, but also relief, deep relief. Because for the first time, your life feels like it's actually yours. If I could speak to my 30-year-old self, I'd tell him to stop trying to be impressive, stop trying to be easy to deal with, and stop shaping himself to fit rooms that were never meant for him. The world doesn't need another polished version of you, it needs the real one. Ask yourself this honestly: if your life ended tomorrow, would you feel like you had been yourself? Not successful, not admired, just real? If the answer is no, what are you waiting for? I can't make this choice for you, but I can tell you this, that you don't want to be 70, looking back, realizing you lived someone else's life perfectly. Don't waste decades figuring this out. Start now. Live truthfully. Disappoint when necessary. Become who you already are, because one day, sooner than you think, you'll look back. And the only thing that will matter is whether you were real while you were here. If this resonated, share it. Leave a comment and tell me what part of yourself you've been holding back. Subscribe if you want more honest conversations like this. The clock is ticking. Who are you going to be before it runs out?